Happy New Year! It's almost here, I imagine. I just want to go over my 2022 because as I see it, it was one of the most important years of my life so far, or at least the most successful. So I'm just going to list off some of the big things that I've done, then we're going to go look at what changes I made to get that done, then we're going to look at things I could have done better, and then we're going to look at how I'm going to move into next year. And hopefully that will give me some accountability to succeed. So let's get into it. So the start of this year, I directed my first short film. I learned cinematography. I directed a film called Cover Your Eyes. We had 5 actors and a crew besides that of 1, me. Director, writer, editor. I scouted locations. I built a set out of a tent. A few months later, when I should have been doing my dissertation, I directed my first music video, first proper music video, and this was really a rallying cry for what I wanted to do with art at the time. But yeah, it was a music video for a song I directed. It got over 500 views on YouTube, which I'm quite proud of. I thought it was very funny. I thought the cinematography was very interesting, and it's where I started getting back into things like motion graphics and video effects. One of the biggest things I did to achieve any of the success I had this year was to no longer identify with myself with that young guy, loves to party, loves hedonism sort of mindset. I realized at some point I no longer had to be a student in the traffic cone at a window set. I didn't do that, that's a felony, but you know what I mean. Removing identities and beliefs that aren't good for you away from yourself leads you to do a lot more than you think capable of, and this is something I've really realized this year. I directed a mockumentary, which sadly never made it to be. I finished my dissertation called Our Young Love on the disillusionment of romance in narrative film or something like that. I got a 79 for that, which meant I completed my degree in film and television with a first overall. Then in September, I directed another short film, which I showed to an audience. I introduced it and then I showed in front of an audience. Everyone yeah, it was very nice. It was very nice. That one was called Can't Think. It's also on my YouTube channel. After university, did a couple of jobs. I worked as a teacher for a bit. Found it used up too much of my time. I worked in a petrol station for a bit and it was just too pointless. From November onwards, I quit. I decided I wasn't going to work in these jobs, these part-time. I was going to quit, sell everything I owned except my camera and my PC, and work full-time on what I want to do and build my own business. And this was probably, in my eyes, the biggest success of the last year. In that time since quitting, I've built my own website. I've built a business name. I've done several client projects. I've done several personal projects. I've started making content for TikTok and Instagram. I've now got about 400 TikTok followers and about 150 Instagram followers, which is enough considering the time frame I've done this in. I've also just improved my skill set tremendously in the last couple of months. I also managed to have a fantastic summer, loads of meaningful transactions with friends, and just generally a great time as well. I managed to fit that in. Major failings. 1, not understanding the market on the way out. The grad paradox or the experience paradox. You know, the whole, you need to get a job to get experience, but you can't get experience without a job. That whole, society beats me down. It took me a while to realize that I had to do the work to get the work. No one's going to pay me for what I didn't want to do. This is where I lost a lot of time trying to create work, portfolio work that I thought would get me hired, not portfolio work that I wanted to do, like videography stuff when I'm more interested in animation and video effects. So this led me to lose a lot of time, a huge discrepancy on who I was and who I wanted to be, and for a long time there I wasn't running at the full efficacy I could be. Since quitting and working for myself full time, there's a few failings. I tend to get too stuck in and work 15-hour days. This leads me to have a bad diet and experience burnout. I'm currently on the tail end of quite a burnout that I've just got over. So moving forwards, that would have to change. Another failing, I think, is one can always procrastinate less. Always. Another one is, I think sometimes it's not going to cause anyone pain for you not to show up to something you don't want to show up to if you want to get work done. Moving forwards, I realized that, but it took me over the course of the year to realize you don't have to go to something just because someone wants you to. You can work. You can always work. People don't disappear. Anyway, moving forwards. By this time next year, I will have applaudable skills in 3D design. I will have near perfect skills in 2D animation. I'll have a body of work that's both artistically and commercially impressive. I'll have a good routine that doesn't facilitate burnout. I'll have a good content strategy, and I will have a fun, fulfilling life. One more thing. I plan to only prioritize learning over earning. That's something I will do. I may not be earning a lot by the end of next year, but I will have learnt more than anyone I know will have learnt in the space of a year at any point. That's truly my plan. Money isn't the game. The game is brain. It's the brain game. It's big brain time. phrase it how you want, but 2023 will be earning the bare minimum. I'm not going to accept a 50k job, but give up all my time for it. I'd much rather earn a smaller wage, but have three days a week to myself to learn. Anyway, this is how I see my next year panning out. I'm hoping when I make that video in the future, I can, I don't know, look back at myself when I've got one arm and an eye patch and 4 children. I went, he had no idea. But currently, that's how I see it. These have been my successes. These will be my successes. And yeah, signing off. Expect better content on here soon. I've just been too focused on the other platforms, but I will be giving YouTube a crack in the future. Until then, thanks for watching.